Hey there! Once in a while you come across something that is really quite interesting, and I think this is one of those moments. I was contacted by John, and John is a retired engineer who worked on the Saturn V rocket that was used to fly to the moon. And he got into fountain pens. He thought it was very interesting. He repaired some pens, his own pens, and he decided to make a pen to kind of commemorate the 50th anniversary Apollo moon landing. Now, he did a lot of experimentation. He ended up with a 3D printed pen that has some really cool features to it, I think. This is a aforementioned pen. He uses Franklin-Christoph nibs. I'll try to put a link in the description to where you can find him because they are for sale. And this is it. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. They're very cool. I'll do a writing sample. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. John, thanks a lot for sending me this. It's very cool to check out. Let's get started. Okay, let's talk about this moon pen. To save on shipping, I was not sent one of the boxes. However, John, who makes the pens, did send me pictures of the box, so I'll put those on the website, sbrebrown.com. The pen comes with this custom pen sleeve made by Rickshaw, which does again have that picture of the boot, right, that Neil Armstrong left on the surface of the moon, which I think is quite cool. These are nice sleeves, soft on the inside, sort of like a nylon feeling on the outside, and the pen fits in there perfectly. So very good fit. Very nice, nothing sticks out. I really like that. Let's look at the actual pen. I'll see if I'll zoom in a little bit, and then I'll put it right next to the Pilot Metropolitan. You can see it's a fairly big pen, a bit girthy and a bit longer than a Metropolitan, but it's nothing ridiculously oversized. I think this would be a size that works well for a lot of people. Okay, a 3D printed pen. All kinds of experiments were done to create the look that John wanted. I think he nailed it with this particular 3D printing process. As I said, John worked on the Saturn V rocket that was used to fly to the moon, so he was an engineer who has an interest in this stuff with the moon. That's a really stupid thing to say, stuff with the moon, but you know what I mean, like the moon rocket, like the whole NASA stuff, JPL stuff. And he created this for the 50th anniversary of the Apollo moon landing. 3D printed and then hand painted, and the job done on that, the effect that creates is, in my mind, really marvelous, because it does really look like the surface of the moon. I don't think anyone would look at this and say, oh, that's, you know, it's the moon. It looks like the moon, craters on the moon. The footstep is also relevant to John. He wanted that to actually be an impression as opposed to just like something wrapped around a pen. And the nice thing about this is it has texture, right? It actually has depth and texture to it, which I think is very, very nice. So I really like that. Let's cover the parts of the pen. So finial, not much to see, but here we have several craters, and we have this texture that really looks like the surface of the moon. I will talk in the next part of this video a little bit about my first experience looking at the moon through a telescope, but this is what you see. So I think it's very well captured. Barrel tapers down a bit. Here we have the footprint, and then on the other side, on the back, it says, "We came in peace for all mankind," which is on the plaque that was left there. Very nice. The pen opens by just pulling off the cap, has a nice thick rubber, I'm assuming rubber, but something O-ring here to make sure the cap doesn't fall off, and that works very well. As you can see, this is a Franklin-Christoph nib, broad I requested, and it's a black nib, which I think matches the overall trim of the pen very well. The section tapers down, flares out a little bit, and is comfortable to hold. Because this footprint is on the top, it doesn't rub against your hand or something. It's not sharp, it's pleasant, it's comfortable, and if you want to, you can post this pen quite deeply, and it works well because it's a light material and nothing really becomes top heavy. So I think that's a very nice touch, well designed. The pen is fed through a cartridge converter. Very nice, very simple. It does have a J printed in here, which I'm assuming is the J for John, the designer of the pen. And that's pretty much all there's to it. Pleasant pen to use, interesting texture, as I said, smooth where it needs to be, where it hits your hand. No threads, so nothing really sharp to rub against. I think it's quite nice. So why don't we see how it writes? Now, what I really should have used is Poussière de Lune, but I didn't have any, so I'm going to call this the John Moon pen. This is a broad Franklin Christoph stainless steel nib. I really shouldn't use that abbreviation. Let's say steel. Okay, steel. There we go. And this is platinum carbon ink, which is a nice deep black ink. Okay. Well, the nib is a Franklin Christoph nib, which I think in turn is a JoWo nib. They're comfortable, they're pleasant to use. This one is smooth. Sometimes when you have a black coated nib, the tipping is coated, becomes a little less smooth. In this case, it's a smooth writer, so I found that very, very pleasant, and that was a nice surprise. Fast writing, pen holds up well. Also nice, it's very light. Some people contact me because they have arthritis or things that makes it very unpleasant for them to use heavier pens. If that's an issue for you, you like lighter pens, this would be certainly a good option. As to its wetness, this is carbon ink, so I'll be wearing that ink for a while. It's nice, nicely tuned, wet without being an excessive gusher. I think this is exactly what you would want in a well-tuned nib. Line variation, it's not a flex nib, but you can get a little bit of line variation out. As to reverse writing, that is also possible and turns this broad, I would say, into a nice fine. I think that's all I have to say for now, except for this is one small pen for man, but a massive leap for mankind. Hashtag corny. Okay, let's talk about likes and dislikes. What do I like? What do I not like about this pen? Well, I mean, it's cool. And it has a lot of cool features. The footprint, the we came in peace for all mankind. It looks like the moon. He nailed it. The 3D printing and then hand painting has rendered something that truly does look like the surface of the moon, and I think that is incredibly cool. I really like it. It also has a nice lightness to it, which I thought was kind of funny because of the moon and the gravity, and then, you know. But having said that, very nice, light but comfortable. A simple pull-on cap, which works well. It can be posted if you so desire. And then it's very comfortable to use. Nice Franklin Christoph nib, which I think is really neat. I like a lot about it. And I was sort of playing with it, fiddling with it, and I thought, what is there that I don't like? And there really isn't much. This pen is a labor of love. This is someone who has a practical connection to the moon landing. This is someone who then explored all kinds of techniques to create the pen that he wanted, that really commemorates everything that was done there, that has a lot of references in it, on it. And I think that's great. And such a labor of love that shows. It's clear. It's obvious that this is made with a lot of love, and that a lot of hours have gone into designing this. So for me, there isn't really anything about this pen that I dislike. It writes fine. It's not just that it's a piece you put on your desk. It's actually a pleasant writer. Franklin Christoph nib. Cool. Number 6, JoWo, right? So very, very nice. I like it a lot, and it's a lot of fun to look at it. And I do want to show you again, like if you look at this big crater here, and then look at the side, it really does look like the surface of the moon. And the camera, I think it makes it look a little gritty, but in real life, natural light, it looks super cool. So I love it. I love it. And this reminded me of a long, long time ago. I actually think I was in the last phase of primary school, about to go to high school, and I kind of got into astronomy, and I at some point got a cheap telescope. But I remember looking at the moon, and the moon being relatively close, even with a cheap telescope, even with a pair of binoculars, you can see a lot of detail on the moon. And that image has always stayed with me. Like seeing that so up close for the first time, seeing craters you can't see with the naked eye, but again, even with cheap optics you can see. It's amazing. And this pen has given me that feeling again. That excitement of, whoa, that's out there. That's very special. And I really like that. So, I appreciate this pen. I think it's cool work. Let me know what you think. And if you have any moon-related memories that you would like to share, I would very much like to read them. Okay? That's it. Thank you, John. Hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye.